Hey all, this is Monarch Mama, and I'm coming to you today with a video of my daughter that's going to be doing my nails for me today because they're looking pretty bare. So these are the polishes we're going to use. This is Formula X base coat that we're going to use, and then the Sally Hansen's Royal Hue. So I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about this special mat that she has while we do my nails.
So this is the Simply Neat Miracle Mat, and you can find it at my Bliss Kiss. And it's a silicone mat. It's made out of food grade silicone, so you could literally eat off of it if you washed it. Obviously you don't want to eat off of it right now. I have some stains, well, they're not stains, but I have some marks on here from earlier today when I took off my super glittery nail polish. There are these places here that are printed so that you can make decals out of them, out of nail polish, and then this is a stamp testing zone, so if you have new stamps you can test them there. I've done that quite a lot. Then these little circles here are indented just a little bit, and these are meant to hold acetone if you're cleaning your brushes, or if you want to just hold some charms or loose glitter in there, you can do that. You can also use them for water marble. And maybe one day we'll make a video about that, but it's really complicated, so we're not going to do it today. I've found this mat really useful also for cleanup, because if you spill polish on it, all you have to do is wait for it to dry and then you can peel it up. So that's what I use every time I'm doing my nails. Now, this Formula X base coat that we're using is expensive. A full-size bottle of it is about $12, but it's definitely worth the money because it dries kind of tacky, and when your base coat is tacky it makes the polish stick to it better. So it's definitely worth the money. It will make your polish stay definitely for a couple of more days. Depending on how you apply your manicure, you can make it last longer. It doesn't take very long to dry either. But if you decide to try to peel your manicure off when you have this on, be very careful because it can actually take pieces of your nail with it. So when you're applying a base coat or really any kind of nail polish, if you want it to stay for a while, a good thing to do is to try to kind of run the brush along the edge of the nail as well, and try to get it a little bit under the fingernail, because it wraps the polish around the tip. As you can see, I have that done a little bit here on my nails. My mom's nails are really short, so it's kind of difficult to do that, and we're going to have to kind of clean off the base coat that I'm getting on her fingers right now. And I'll show you how to do that here in a moment. I'm not going to be able to do it with this one. Okay. So I have the base coat applied for that hand, and what I'm going to do now is I have this professional grade acetone. As you can see, I'm running very low because I use it a lot, and I like this better than regular nail polish remover because it just works so much faster. People say it's basically impossible to take off glitter nail polish, but it becomes a lot easier when you use this stuff. The only downside to it is that you have to be 18 to buy it, and the fumes are ridiculously strong, so be careful when you use it. So I'm taking this eyeliner brush
that I bought from Walmart. It's just an angled eyeliner brush. I probably need to get a new one soon because the bristles are getting kind of frizzy. The reason that all of the paint has gone is because my boyfriend dropped it into the acetone about a month or two ago. So I'm just going to dip it in there and get the bristles wet a little bit, and then I'm going to take a napkin and just kind of dab off the excess acetone. And now, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's like a little bit of shiny stuff there, so I'm just going to brush it off. And the acetone kind of just melts the polish instantly and makes it go away. It's really good for if you get polish around the sides of your fingers, like right here or right here. It's very easy to clean it up that way. So that is the base coat. Okay, so we're going to finish up the other hand and we'll come back to you in a few minutes.
Okay, so now we finished the base coat. As you can see, her nails are kind of shiny, and you can't really tell, but it's kind of tacky, and that's good. You want it to be kind of tacky because now the nail polish will stick to it. So now we're going to put on the first coat of this Sally Hansen Hard as Nails Extreme Wear. and the color is Royal Hue. I like the extreme wear polishes because they actually they stay pretty well, and they tend to be pretty opaque. This one is kind of sheer, but it still works very well. So when you're working with nail polish, you always want to work in thin coats as much as possible, because thick coats tend to peel off a lot easier. So you just want to be very careful. As I said, it's alright if I get a little bit on the skin or on the cuticle, because I can clean it up with my cleanup brush here in a little bit. And as you can see, the polish is a little bit sheer, but I'm going to put a second coat on in a little bit. When you're painting nails, you don't want to get polish on the cuticle too much, partially because some polishes will stain your cuticle, and also because it just doesn't look as clean. So you just want to be careful about that, but of course you can always clean it off later. And as with the base coat, you want to try to kind of brush along the top edge of the nail and try to seal it in a little bit. I know I kind of messed up that one a little bit by doing that, but I can put a second coat on and nobody will notice. So we're just going to seal the tips of the other ones really fast. And I am getting polish on the tips of her fingers, but I'm going to clean it off here in a minute.
Okay, so we are going to finish up the other hand and we'll come back in a little bit.
Okay, so now that the latex is dry, you can see because it's darker and it's pretty shiny, we're going to go ahead and start the stamping process. So we're going to put the polish on the engraving, and I'm going to put it on the other side now so I can scrape it away from her nail. You can cover the whole engraving with polish if you need to. I don't usually, because it's just kind of a waste of polish. And you just kind of scrape it, and then you roll it over. And today I'm just going to put it like on half of her nail, and I can see through the stamper because it's clear, and I'm just going to kind of press it on. And I still missed a little bit and got it on most of her nail, but that's the way that it should look. You see how the image transferred really well, and now it's all around her nail, so that's what the barrier was for. And now there's just a little bit left on the stamper. Usually how you would do stamping, if I was doing it on myself, I would bring the stamper to my nail and I'd just kind of roll my nail over it. I have on white, that's why I did this. So you can't really see it, but it transfers it really well. So now that that's done, I'm just going to kind of roll my finger across it and see how it's kind of peeling up. And then I just pinch that with my fingernail and I peel it off. And all gone. And it's totally clean. And then you would just put a top coat on over top of that. And you want to give it a little bit to let the polish totally dry. It's still a little bit wet right now, but you want to give it a minute to be totally dry, because otherwise if you put top coat on directly after stamping, it will smear and then it won't be as good.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish up the other one and I'll show you the finished product.